A very good evening to one and all. We are going to start today's talk, So it's already time and we are going to begin. So I take the privilege to introduce before us the speaker this evening. Myself, Anukriti Raj, the coordinator of the series organized by Expressions in Languages and Arts Foundation, Lucknow, President Professor R.P. Singh sir. On behalf of the foundation, I extend my heartiest greetings to the speaker this evening, Kaumudi Singh ji, and our friends and participants, all of them who have joined this evening. So now we are going to play the signature song of the foundation, Expressions in Languages and Arts Foundation. So that I would be playing for your kind attention and reception. I would like to confirm, are you able to hear? Anyone can unmute in this.
हम मिले सृजन पथ पर चलते, हम मिले सृजन करते करते। आत्मा की शक्ति अनंत है, आत्म चेतना भर कर स्वर में आत्मा की शक्ति अनंत है, आत्म चेतना भर कर स्वर में अपने को जाने पहचाने, अपने को जाने पहचाने। आओ सृजन करें, आओ सृजन करें, आओ सृजन करें, आओ सृजन करें। हम मिले सृजन पथ पर चलते, हम मिले सृजन करते करते। हम मिले सृजन पथ पर चलते, हम मिले सृजन करते करते। सत्य सृजन है नश्वर जग में, आओ सृजन करें, आओ सृजन करें, आओ सृजन करें, आओ
जैसा कि आप जानते हैं कि हमारे श्रृंखला का नाम भाषा, साहित्य और समाज है, काव्य पाठ, चर्चा एवं संवाद है। इसी कड़ी में हम आगे बढ़ते हुए हमारे बीच आज की वक्ता हैं कौमुदी सिंह जी, जो कि असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसर हैं। So I would like to introduce before the participants about the speaker. Today, this evening, I would like to introduce to you all. So, Kaumudi Singh is an alumna of Department of English and Modern European Languages, University of Lucknow. Presently, she is training budding engineers at Lucknow University second campus. Her papers have been published in reputed international and national journals, providing her multifaceted personality. She is a Bharatnatyam dancer, recognized by former Governor Shri B.L. Joshi ji. Her areas of interest are literary theory and criticism, Canadian literature, translation, and diasporic writings. So, before us, she would be presenting her views on ruminations on spirituality apropos to Indian freedom struggle. So, over to you, Kaumudi ji.
Thank you so much, Anupriti ji, for introducing me. A very good evening to all the respected board of members of Expressions and Language and Arts Foundation and the dexterous participants of the series to celebrate the 75 glorious years of Indian independence. I would also like to extend my heartfelt gratitude towards Dr. Alka Singh ma'am and my mentor, Professor R.P. Singh sir, for giving me this opportunity to put forth my views on spirituality and how it is connected to Indian struggle of independence. Indian freedom struggle is actually a series which talks about sacrifice and service, constant sacrifice and service towards various aspects. As we all know, the famous song that was sung by Mohammad Rafi, "हम लाए हैं तूफान से कश्ती निकाल के." This was not possible if spirituality was not there to rescue. Spirituality or religion, if I say, acts as a catalyst towards the success of Indian struggle and how we are striving towards freedom, and also as a reservoir of support, which was felt and experienced by every freedom fighter. So today I have a few great souls from the history to talk upon and how spirituality affected them, and the whole idea has shown repercussions to make Indian freedom struggle a success. Civilization which has a glorious past, a history when we could see that ships were sent around the world trading with the Roman Empire and exporting ideas of religion across Asia, because we believed in awakening and reformation, but religion slowly degraded, as in we became so self-protective that it forbade travel across the black waters. To reform, reshape the idea of religion for restoring the Western validity, if I could state so, Raja Ram Mohan Roy promoted a rational, ethical, and non-hierarchical idea of Hinduism. The first slide of my presentation states about the monotheism of Raja Ram Mohan Roy, who talked about one God. He says that it is necessary that some change should take place in their religion, at least for the sake of their political advantage, and social comfort. So as we all know that Raja Ram Mohan Roy, who was born in 1772, he laid the foundation of Brahma Samaj in 1828, which was priorly known as Brahmo Sabha, and it advocated the worship of the eternal God against priesthood, ritual sacrifices, and talked about an interactive and reformist ideology of Hinduism. Raja Ram Mohan Roy is also is responsible or attributed as the first intellectual reformer in modern India and a forerunner of all religious and social movement. Apart from Brahma Samaj, he has also started the Atma Sabha and the Calcutta Unitarian Association in 1815 and 1821 respectively. He has worked for abolition of sati, widow remarriage, caste system. But the thing which I would like to highlight is that his monotheism is actually a modernistic reality of the Advait Vedant, which we know, and early Victorian Christianity. To speak on Advait Vedant, it is actually a philosophy which talks about Praman and Anubhav, evidence and intuitive experiences, which was given by Adi Shankara, which has one truth and many exposition. So it is actually a part of the six systems, the Shad Darshan, which we know, and it is a part of the mainstream Hindu philosophy. So Raja Ram Mohan Roy tried to
वहाँ का सेक्रेटरी था, एसोसिएट का तो बदला कि उन्होंने कहा कि हमारा सेमिनार है, कल नहीं कर पाएंगे.
So he tried to blend the ideologies of Advait Vedant, which is one God, to the early Victorian Christianity. And the similarity which I could draw is that monotheism is similar to what Unitarians is to Christianity. So it gave a new image to the rottening philosophy of Hinduism and religion. After that, we have the next great soul of Indian freedom struggle, and the name is Bal Gangadhar Tilak. He is famous for celebrating Ganesh Chaturthi, and the celebration actually dates back to the era of Maratha king, because Ganesh was the Kul Devta of the Peshwas, and it was celebrated by the Chhatrapati Shivaji. So Bal Gangadhar Tilak tried to reimpose and rejuvenate the celebration, and the idea was to bridge the gap between the various sections of the society, basically the Brahmins and the non-Brahmins, and he did this in 1893 in the Keshvi Nayak Chaul of the Sarjanik Ganeshotsav Mandal. In order to oppose the British government ban on Hindu gathering, which was imposed 1 year prior to the celebration, to the anti-public assembly legislation. So by the celebrations, he was trying to build a platform for the speeches to fight for freedom and to instill patriotism among people. And the platform was not only for the Hindus, but also for the Muslim leaders who wanted to come up and instill patriotism and evoke the masses for the struggle and to come up and contribute in freedom struggle. In All India Religious Association at Banaras in 1906, he stated that during Vedic times, India was united as a great nation. The unity has disappeared, bringing us on great degradation, and it becomes the duty of the leaders to revive the union. So unity was his major concern, and he wanted to reunite people, and Ganesh Chaturthi, according to him, celebrated with great fervor all over India. He was an active participant in the various Dharm Sabhas also. He once participated in the Sanatan Dharm Sabha, where he said that Hindu is he who believes that Ved contain self-evident and axiomatic truths, which again relates to the philosophy of Advait Vedant, which talks about evidences and logics. After Bal Gangadhar Tilak, we have another hero of freedom struggle, and his name is Sri Aurobindo, and he qualified ICS in 1890 but could not take part because he was disqualified. In 1902, he joined the Indian freedom struggle after meeting Tilak in Gujarat. So he was constantly writing, but he started constructive writings on issues such as jail reforms after Ranade influenced him. He also started Vande Mataram magazine, and he went to Pondicherry in 1990. So it is actually the trajectory of what all he did in his lifespan. But if I talk about his spiritual inclination, he has basically talked about supermind and superman, which is Atimanas and Atimanav. Once he was put behind bars in Alipur jail, and I have read his book, which is The Life Divine, and he has shared that when food was served in plates, they came rotating to the prisoners. So that rotation reminded him of Sufi turning, which is also known as Deen Darwish. So by that, I could infer that how the freedom strugglers were motivated by spirituality, that spirituality acted as a support system for them. So by that, they were doing that the struggles to them were actually strengths, which helped them to reform and contribute to the freedom struggle. After Aurobindo Ghosh, we have Vivekananda's theory of Daridra Narayan Seva, that we all know that how much he is well acclaimed and known by one and all. He desired to spread the message of divine unity of existence, and he believed in unity and diversity throughout the British imperialism. He gave the concept of Daridra Narayan and tried to teach the middle path, that to reach Narayan, we must serve the Daridra Narayan, the people, the downtrodden people of lower strata. He asked to feel for them, pray for them, strive for the relief and uplift of the suffering and the miserable. So for him, actually, nationalism, like Hinduism, should be what? Inclusive. It should include people of lower strata, so that unification of the nation could take place. He explained his sacred text in terms when he was there at Chicago Parliament of the World's Religions, that the Hindus must receive their religion through Vedas. They hold that the Vedas are without beginning and without end. That doesn't mean that it has no end or no beginning, but the interpretation is open to everyone. He further added that unity in variety is the plan of nature and the Hindu has recognized it. Vedant tradition enables Indians to stand up with self-confidence against imperial world. So religion was constantly serving as a backup to fight against the exploitative nature of the British rule. Lastly, in the presentation, I would like to take the name of our father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi, that he was also much influenced by religion and spirituality. He sung the famous song Raghupati Raghav Raja Ram, which was actually written by Vishnu Digambar, but was made popular by him and by his followers, who sang this in the 251-mile salt march to Dandi. Gandhi's approach, if I talk, be it politics, language, or religion, it is inclusive all through in its orientation. So during freedom movement, language and religion both has played an important role. He has promoted the notion of nation in a linguistic order. For example, if I talk about Hindustani as a part of his three language formula, Hindustani is a word which is from Shah Jahan's Badshah-nama, which means a general language. So what was the attempt to popularize Hindustani? The attempt was to neutralize the communal hatred which was taking place, which was evident in that era, and it's evident today also, that even the Britishers were taking the benefit of dividing the clans and taking out profit out of it. So in order to neutralize it, he came up with the concept of Hindustani, which is neither the Sanskritized Hindi nor the Persianized Urdu, but a blend of two. So his attempt was to maintain harmony in heterogeneity. He protested the exploitative norms of British government by fasting in a non-violent manner, which was influenced by the Jain guru, and the name is Mahavir Jain, Swami Mahavir Jain, because fasting or vrat was picked from that culture by Gandhi. It is also notable that truth and non-violence are pillars of his philosophy, which takes you to the Pranami Sampradaya, because Gandhi's mother was a member of Pranami Sampradaya. So when he was a child, the mother used to take him to the gatherings of the Pranami Sampradaya, where people from all the sections came and they shared the middle path of the, be it truth, non-violence, or brotherhood. So Gandhi picked up those traits and implemented it in his ideology of freedom struggle. So all the aspects of religion were taken up and implemented by the various dharm gurus and freedom fighters, which resulted in independence finally in 1947. That's all what I have to share for today's presentation. Lastly, I would add that since the episode of freedom is over, but things which we learned from that is not yet over. By that I mean that still we have the doctrine of sacrifice and service, and being consistent in our work, being disciplined, is all what we could learn from the great souls of Indian freedom struggle. Now I request Anukriti ji to please come up and proceed. If there are any questions or any points which you all would like to add in, your suggestions are most welcome.
Yes, thank you, Komadi ji. It was really, very enlightening. The way you related, from Raja Ram Mohan Roy, you started with the monotheism of Raja Ram Mohan Roy, and you related Advait Vedanta and with the early Christianity, how it was. You went to Bal Gangadhar Tilak, then Sri Aurobindo you talked about, his Ati Manas and Ati Manav you talked about. It was how you related the spirituality and how spirituality helped the freedom fighters to contribute in a way and to fight with the Britishers. The religion, you talked about that, how religion served as a backup for to fight against these Britishers. And you talked about Vivekananda, the Hinduism, which that was very inclusive in nature. And at the end you talked about the Gandhiji, then and his truth and non-violence, and Pranami Sampradaya, which he hold it up, the values of that. So that was really very enlightening. Thank you once again. And if if we have any questions, kindly I request the participants to put them in the chat box. We'll take that. And meanwhile, today, it's a very important day. I would like to, as we have 5 more minutes, so I could talk about that. Today is the 18th of September, and 18th of September is a death anniversary of well-known theosophist and a freedom fighter, Bhagwan Das. He was an educator by profession. Bhagwan Das founded the Kashi Vidya Peeth. He served as a member of the Central Legislature of British India for a long time. Das was born in Varanasi, India on January 12, 1869. Inspired by a speech of Annie Besant, Das joined the Theosophical Society in 1894. In 1900, he was awarded the Subba Rao Medal by the Theosophical Society in recognition of his contribution to the theosophical literature. In 1921, Das was sentenced to 1 year imprisonment by the British Association with the Non-Cooperation Movement. Das was released after only 5 weeks on motion of the government. For several years, Das served for All India Congress Committee and was elected to the Legislative Assembly in Uttar Pradesh in 1934. In 1555, Dr. Bhagwan Das was awarded the Bharat Ratna, India's highest civilian award, for his achievements in literature and education. Bhagwan Das with adieu to this world on September 18, 1958. So I found it very relevant that we are as we have today is the date, and we should commemorate in a way the freedom fighters and all the because the series is we are celebrating the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. So in every episode we'll try to take one freedom fighters and we will be talking about. Okay, so I'll just see if there is any question in the chat box. Okay, Komadi ji, it was really very nice to have you with us, because you could check the chat box and we have so many thank you and appreciation for your talk. So now we'll be winding up the session, और लास्ट में हम आपके लिए कुल गीत प्ले करते हैं.
Thank you to you, Anukriti ji, and it's a matter of honor for me to be a part of this. Again, I would like to thank Alka ma'am and RP sir for their constant encouragement. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. And I would be playing the Abhar Geet of the foundation. Okay. So thank you, participants. So tomorrow again we'll be meeting for another talk, at 6:30 p.m. So you could sign off, and I'm ending the meeting here. Thank you once again, Kaumudi ji.